Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Frey, and I've been your instructor for the past 3 weeks, although you've never really actually seen me. I decided to go ahead and try to play around with the software to see if I could get it to work for you all. This is something we're thinking about adding to Region 4 in the online classes. So, as much as I hate seeing myself on camera, I'm doing this for you all. But I wanted to just quickly go over the Module 4 checklist. This week is somewhat of a lighter week, although it is our last week together. The first thing you need to do is read chapters 3 and 4 in the Teaching Tools textbook by Fred Jones and complete the Exploiting Proximity book study / responsive reflection. Please remember when you're writing these, and you all have done such a wonderful job about this, is to make sure that you include plenty of detail in regards to your actual journal, and make sure you answer the prompt. A lot of times we get carried away in writing about something and we don't fully answer the prompt, so make sure you answer it, especially when it has to do with using your own body language and proximity to correct student behavior, which is amazing how it works. I cannot tell you, once I mastered this art, I even use it in the college classroom, and it's amazing how quickly the students will get back on task once I'm standing by them. I don't even have to say anything. Seating arrangement. This is a discussion board. Make sure that you read, this is all part of reading chapters 3 and 4 as well. Of course, it plays nicely into proximity because where you seat them in regards to your desk, or even within where you actually instruct your class most of the time, which might be in the front with the smart board or the overhead. It's so important that we have them in the right seats. And then last but not least, I'm having you complete an educational blog. And the reason educational philosophy blog, the reason I'm having you do this is because I think it's so important. I remember having to write my first one. That would have been 1998 or 97. I can't remember. But it's a very broad philosophy. You do not want to get too specific in it because you remember that this covers all of education. However, you need to let the instructors, or actually your administration that you will be interviewing with, let them know that you are aware of all the buzzwords: student-centered, team-based learning, heterogeneous grouping, all those wonderful buzzwords that we love to use, differentiation within the classroom. All of those need to be within your teaching, your educational philosophy. Now, there is a second thing that I recently had to write, and that's your teaching philosophy. And this is a little bit different because it's a little bit more specific, and it's more for higher education. And so you draw upon the experiences you've already had. Now, when I went into teaching and wrote my educational philosophy, I didn't have a bunch of teaching experience except for my student teaching and my actual substitute teaching. So that's kind of how the educational philosophy and the teaching philosophy vary. The teaching philosophy, you've actually been out there and teaching, and you know what works and what doesn't work after several years of honing your skills. As far as the educational philosophy is concerned, that is more of a broad general view of how you feel about education and what you believe the most important parts of education should be. So just keep that in mind as you are going about and completing these. Make sure you post that initial one on Thursday, and then I want you guys to go in and actually read a couple of them and then post your response. And although we don't want to diminish one's writing spirits, we do want to let them know if perhaps it could be polished a bit more. Maybe there are some contractions. Remember, this is a formal document, and most of the school districts require that you submit this along with your application. So make sure that it's polished. I will share something with you personally that happened this week. Last night I was helping to interview the dean for one of our campuses, a prospective dean, and we had gone through several of the actual letters that some of the deans had sent in, their application letters, their cover letters, and their philosophy of teaching. And I cannot tell you how many grammatical mistakes, misspellings of words such as bachelor's for bachelor's degree. Competitive was completely butchered. I am not a perfect speller. I do not claim to be, but that's why God made spell check. So please, please use it. And you also, in a formal type of writing such as this, you don't want any contractions or signs. You need to write out and not use the ampersand. So just, unless you, of course, are writing out Texas A&M, but that really shouldn't be in your educational philosophy. So just look at the actual sample that I give you. I think it's mine from several years ago, but I kind of cleaned it up. And use that as your guide. Of course, you want these to be organic and for them to be your own, but at the same time, you can use that for a guide. All right. If there's any questions, please email or call me. I know we had, those of you who were in my FOT class, we had quite a few problems as far as the actual final went, and it shutting down on you, and there were all kinds of issues. But I'm hoping this week is just a nice, pleasant end to getting ready for the classroom and hopefully your coursework. So y'all have a great week, and call me or email me if you have any questions. Thanks.